Have you ever looked around at your life and wondered, why am I not happy? Even when things seem to be going well, when there's no obvious problem, but quiet emptiness remains. Have you ever felt guilty for not feeling joy, even when others say you should? Welcome back to the channel, fellow travelers of the inner path. Today, we're diving into a surprising yet transformative topic, the forgotten spiritual power of rejoicing. You may think happiness comes from achievements, relationships, or spiritual insight, but what if true joy has less to do with what happens to you, and more with how you respond to what happens around you? This video is about the ancient and profound practice of rejoicing. It's about remembering a wisdom that doesn't just uplift others, but heals you from within. So if you've been feeling stuck in sadness, dissatisfaction, or invisible emotional weight, stay with me. This might be the key you didn't know you're missing. Let's start with a moment of honesty. When you see someone else succeed, do you secretly feel a sting of jealousy? When others are praised, do you feel like you've been overlooked? When someone you know attains something you desire, does your heart quietly sink, even if you smile on the outside? These are not rare feelings. They are profoundly human, but they are also the seeds of suffering. And in contrast, there exists a powerful antidote, one so simple that most people overlook it. It is the practice of rejoicing. In ancient Buddhist teachings, this practice is known as modhiten, the joy in another's joy. Not just tolerating their success, not just faking a smile, but truly feeling glad for them, as if it were your own. First, this may seem impossible. How can I be happy for someone else when I feel like I'm losing? How can I rejoice when I've been struggling for so long? Here's the spiritual paradox. The moment you truly rejoice in someone else's good fortune, you awaken the energy of that fortune in your own field. Let me explain. Imagine you are in a desert, dying of thirst. You see someone ahead of you finding water, drinking deeply. At first, envy rises. Why them? Why not me? But then, you realize, their discovery proves water exists here. It means it's close. It means you too are near refreshment. This is what rejoicing does. It turns someone else's joy into a promise for your own. It shifts you from lack to possibility. And the best part, rejoicing generates merit. It is said in the Sutras that to rejoice in another's goodness is to share in the merit of that goodness. You're not just passively watching or energetically participating. Let me share a story. Woman had been on the spiritual path for years. He meditated, served others, studied sutras, yet she felt empty, no peace, no joy. One day, she told her teacher, I think something's wrong with me. I do everything right, but I'm not happy. The teacher didn't give her another mantra. He didn't ask her to pray harder. Instead, he said, for the next 21 days, every time you see someone smile, every time you hear good news, every time you read about someone succeeding, rejoice, not fake, not forced. Let your heart soften and say, I'm glad for them. And do this, and come back. She did. At first, it felt awkward. Her mind resisted. But slowly, something began to change. Her heart, once tight, began to loosen. Her body felt lighter. The bitterness she'd carried for years began to dissolve. When she returned, she said, I didn't receive anything new, but I feel full. Rejoicing had opened our heart. Not by adding anything. Not by removing the barriers to joy. You see, we often block happiness not because we lack blessings, but because we carry subtle resentment, comparison, or entitlement. These energies harden the heart, and a hardened heart cannot feel joy even if surrounded by beauty. But the practice of rejoicing breaks that armor. It reawakens your connection to humanity. It reminds you that someone else's light isn't dim yours. That joy is not a limited resource. That life is not a competition. So how do you practice this in daily life? Start small. When a colleague receives praise, pause, smile inside, say, I rejoice in your joy. When a friend finds love adventuring, whisper, and may your love flourish. When you see a stranger life blesseth their happiness, say, and may more joy visit them. Do this not for them, but for you. Because every act of genuine rejoicing expands your capacity to feel joy. And joy, once awakened, spreads. Here's something else to remember. Rejoicing is not only for others' happiness, it's also for your own past good deeds. Increaseblessingsandwisdom. At time you helped someone, expecting nothing in return. At time you forgave, even though it hurt. At time you stayed silent, even when you were right. Rejoice in those moments, not with pride, but with gentle gratitude. They are proof of your inner goodness. And when you rejoice in your own virtue, you feed it. You remind yourself, there is goodness in me. I have planted seeds of light. And those seeds, watered by rejoicing, begin to bloom. So why aren't you happy? Maybe it's not because you're missing something. Maybe it's because you've stopped noticing the joy that surrounds you. Maybe it's because your heart, weighed by habit, has forgotten how to live. Rejoicing is the life. It's the breath of fresh air your spirit has been craving. It's the quiet revolution that transforms envy into inspiration, comparison into celebration, bitterness into beauty. Imagine a world where everyone rejoiced in each other's light, where every victory felt like a shared triumph, where no one felt alone in their happiness. That world begins with you. So today, I invite you to try this. Rejoice. Not because life is perfect. Not because you have no pain. But because someone, somewhere, is smiling. And that smile is part of your world. Rejoice because light exists. Because love exists. Because hope exists. And because every time you rejoice, you choose to be on the side of that light. Thank you for watching this video. If this message resonated with your heart, if it reminded you of your forgotten joy, please like, comment, and subscribe. Share how rejoicing has touched your life, or how you plan to begin today. Because even one rejoicing heart can brighten the world. See you in the next video.
Before you leave, here's something special. In Buddhism, we believe that every encounter carries a deeper meaning. Would you like to discover your true soul connection, the one written into your destiny? Take the Soulmate Test today and unveil the hidden truths of your journey. Click the link below and begin your path now.
http://soulmate. You wisdom more, come, white.